And that, of course, is your voice, your vote, and the results in the presidential primary today. Here's a look at the numbers. On the Republican side, you can see Donald Trump did beat Nikki Haley 67% to 28%. The numbers right there are on the screen. 322, 135. Donald Trump over Nikki Haley. On the Democratic ballot, Joe Biden won as expected, taking that overwhelming majority of the vote. However, about 14% of the voters did vote uncommitted. Groups upset over the president's handling of the war in Gaza encouraged people to vote that way as a sign of protest. And as the results from the election continue to come in tonight, our 13 on your side political reporter Josh Albertus has been busy looking at the numbers. He joins us now. And Josh, what do you see?
Well, there were results we were waiting for on either side to see how tonight would kind of play out. Let's start on the Republican side. Trump was expected as likely to win. The biggest question of the night was going to be how much support Nikki Haley was going to be able to receive. Would she pull a surprise first win? Would she have enough support to justify staying in the race? It's now clear the Associated Press has called this race for Donald Trump just as the last polls closed in the Upper Peninsula just after 9 p.m. Haley centered her message of continuance on the idea that she has still won sizable amounts of voters in other states, and that she says that could mean Trump is in trouble in the general elections. When she said that, she's pointed to having gotten about 40% in places like New Hampshire and South Carolina. Tonight we'll be waiting to see on the final results whether that holds, but right now it is not. Haley is getting about 27% of the vote statewide. As expected, she's performing better in more urban collegiate areas in places like Kent County and Washtenaw County, home to the University of Michigan at Ann Arbor. She's hovering around 40% in those areas, but we'll have to wait and see as more results come in if that's the case statewide. When you're looking at the Democratic side, the biggest question going into tonight was how much of the vote was going to be for Biden and how much was going to be for the uncommitted option that, as you mentioned, Juliet, many voters are choosing in protest to his position on the Israel-Hamas war. Late in the process, that campaign behind the push said they would even aim for 10,000 votes, as that was about how much Donald Trump carried the state by in 2016. They started to say that would send a message. Now that we're getting results in, we're seeing that the uncommitted vote is well exceeding those expectations, about 50,000, 57,000 votes for uncommitted so far. And where we're seeing the highest levels of support for that is where we expected. These areas on the east side of the state, large Arab American communities, populations in places like Wayne County, not only home to Detroit, but also to Dearborn as well. Very large proportion of the city there is Arab American. It's getting about 17% there at the moment. Also a larger share of support in neighboring Washtenaw County, home to Ann Arbor. Overall, it's gotten about 15% of the vote statewide. And now what the biggest message could be here out of the night, on top of the possibility for a few uncommitted delegates now going to the Democratic convention in Chicago this summer, is that these are typically heavily Democratic counties and very populated. Arab Americans in this area were heavily supportive of Biden in 2020. If this kind of opposition or disapproval continues into November, it could spell trouble for Biden in a state that has had narrow margins in the last few cycles and could swing either way at this time around. Juliet.
All right, Josh, thank you for those updated numbers.